events and issues shaping our community. This is Comcast Newsmakers.
Welcome to this special edition of Comcast Newsmakers. We're in Tallahassee, in the courtyard of the state capitol, right between the old Capitol building and the existing Capitol building. I'm Spiro Canton. We thank you for joining us. Joseph Chiaro is our guest this hour. He's the Deputy Secretary for the Department of Health of the state of Florida. Thanks very much for joining us. Now, you're working very closely with the First Lady in her obesity program. Tell us how that's going.
We're certainly working closely with obesity. We know obesity is a major problem among all citizens today, particularly children. In fact, it starts in childhood for many individuals. And what we're doing is trying to think of creative programs that we can use to get kids more active and to look at their nutrition so that they can lose weight.
When you attack the obesity problem, do you talk about nutrition or do you talk about exercise? And it seems like we're in a sedentary environment nowadays with the computers and video games, and it's a lot easier to play a video game than it is to go outside and play soccer.
It is, absolutely, and actually we're talking about all of that. We're trying to approach this problem from a global perspective. So it's not enough just to reduce one's calories. It's not enough to really get outside and play if you then go in and snack food all evening. What we're trying to focus with these kids on is knowing the value of what they're eating, both in terms of the nutritional value and the caloric value, and then making sure they become much more active. We know there's a problem with some of our neighborhoods that aren't as safe as they might be. We know that sometimes parents aren't home to supervise the activities. We know that many of these kids get their activity at school, many don't, but we're, again, focusing all of those toward these kids and trying to get them more active.
Where do you start? Do you start in the schools with this? Because that's where they all go, or do you try to go in the homes to educate the parents?
Personally, I think we need to start in the home. We need to start with the parents, even as they are feeding their children before school, which is to say, before the age of school. We know that historically we've always thought that a healthy baby's a fat baby, and we brag about, oh, my kid's this weight and your kid's that weight. We want to make sure that parents understand that the fattest baby may not be the healthiest baby, that there are certain caloric requirements, but not to exceed those. And again, even with children, to select the proper foods that they eat, to stay away from the real fatty foods, stay away from the foods with a high caloric content, focus on fruits and vegetables, make sure they have a good measure of protein throughout the day, and again, the activity. Learn to be active even as a youngster and as they're growing into adolescence.
This is a great forum where you can educate parents at home. What about activity? What type of exercise? Should they just get out there to the community centers around the area and just do anything they can to get some physical activity in?
Well, kids like to do, of course, what they like to do. So kids like to do what's fun. For some kids, that's tag. For some, it's riding their bike. For some, maybe it's kickball, soccer, baseball.
Blowing whistles.
Blowing whistles. A few calories burned up there, yeah. But anything that they can do to exercise those muscles. Some parents these days, some families have these Wii games.
Right.
So they're inside even in the evening after dark, and they're exercising and they're active. And by the way, we'd point out that while sitting in front of a computer screen is not great activity, it's actually better than TV, we've found, because typically kids don't snack while they're playing computer games or on their computer. It's while they're watching TV that they're eating the snacks and they get the munchies.
And we is the best of both worlds. You work out at the same time you're doing a computer game. Joseph Chiaro, our guest this hour on Comcast Newsmakers. He's the Deputy Secretary for the Department of Health here in the state of Florida. I'm Spiro Canton on the plaza of the state capitol. Thanks for joining us.